This is this week's grocery haul. I got some tuna, some frozen spinach, bratwurst, and these were $4.50. Bananas, sliced peaches, sliced pears, tomatoes, baked beans, sugar, noodles, and I got a larger container of honey this time. The smaller one ended up being about 30 cents more when I purchased two versus this one. So paying a little bit more for a larger container and I'll end up saving a little bit of money. So that's a good deal. I also got some sweet potatoes, onions, one onion, and the grand total was $26.57. For today's lunch, I'm having some homemade bread with some cut up bratwurst and onions and spinach. And the bratwurst just gives so much flavor to the dish that I don't even need any other spices. So this is a really simple way to get some meat and vegetables into your diet. And I'm also having some baked beans. This is homemade bread with some butter. And I'm also having some sliced pears and a banana. For lunch, I reheated some chicken in the oven. And I decided to get out my big roasting pan and cut up some yams and carrots and some onion. I figure I can use some roasted vegetables to take for lunches this week. For my baking this weekend, I made some peanut butter cookies. And unlike last week, I added in all the honey that it called for, and the cookies turned out much better this week. So these will be some very tasty snacks for work. And I also baked some bread. And I just love the smell of homemade bread. And I'll be using this for sandwiches or maybe even some breakfast goodies. So I'm very pleased that my baking is all done, and I feel like I am ready for the work week. For breakfast this morning, I am having some homemade bread with some butter and honey. And I'm also having some applesauce and a banana. Today for lunch, I'm having a peanut butter and honey sandwich. This is homemade bread, and I've got some honey roasted peanut butter and some butter and some honey. And I'm also having roasted carrots, yams, and onions. And it's seasoned with a little bit of salt and pepper and oregano. These are oat pancakes made with 1/4 cup of oats and 1/2 cup of flour, a little bit of baking soda, and some water. And for the topping, I've got some bananas and some honey. And I'm also having some applesauce. For lunch today, I have 2 hard-boiled eggs, and I cut them up and put a little bit of mayo in there just to make them a little creamy. And then I seasoned them with salt, pepper, and parsley. And I'm also having some roasted vegetables, yams and onions and carrots. This is homemade bread, and for the topping I have a little bit of butter and also some honey. And I'm also having some sliced pears and a banana. For lunch today, I'm having a tuna sandwich, and I'm using some homemade bread. And this is half a can of tuna with some mayo and salt and pepper, oregano, and also some relish. And I'm also having some baked beans. This is homemade bread, and I put on a little bit of butter and some peanut butter. And I'm also having some applesauce and a banana. These are 2 hard-boiled eggs that I've chopped up, and I've added about a tablespoon of mayo and some salt and pepper for the spices, as well as some oregano. And these are some roasted vegetables. I've got some yams and carrots and some onions, and I sprinkled on some salt and pepper and oregano. These are oat pancakes made with 1/4 a cup of oats, 1/2 a cup of flour, a little bit of baking powder, and 3/4 cup water. And for the topping, I've got some honey and some bananas.